Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video, we will be going over my personal dream 10 car garage. But in reality, these are kind of like give or take 10 cars, because if I can only have 10 cars ever, and this is like it for the rest of my life, these are the 10 I would pick. However, you know, I'm a car guy, so eventually what would happen is I'd probably get bored of one, sell it, and buy a different one, and you guys understand what I'm saying. But I thought, okay, we'll split it up into little categories. We got like dailies, trucks, drift cars, race cars, show cars, stuff like that. That way I could have at least one of everything. I think it sounds pretty good. But anyway, guys, without further ado, let's go right into the list with number 10, So, yeah, I think it's a good choice. But now let's talk about the truck that I would get. My dream truck, I guess you can call it. It would be any, honestly, of the latest generation of the Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. I don't care which one. I like every single one of the Silverados so far, and so as long as they don't make like a heap of trash for the next Silverado generation, then I would just want the latest version. I think people also heavily underestimate what trucks are capable of in terms of like daily driving and stuff like that too. Most trucks nowadays, not most, but some trucks nowadays come with like Wi-Fi. Okay, you could literally have Wi-Fi, and they have tons of space, much more space than you would think they have. They are really, really good vehicles now, and so I would just want the newest one. I mean, I get the whole, appeal to the older trucks because they do look really good, but dude, if I'm getting a truck, I want it to be just like the top of the line, just freaking holy moly. And by the way, I know you're gonna be like, well, why not the Ford? Why not the Dodge? I don't know. I like Chevy Silverados. My dad's always been a Chevy guy. He's always had Silverados, and I really like them. I think they look good. Now for my drift car, and there's actually 2 drift cars here. Don't worry, there's still only 10 cars total for the dream car garage, but there is 2 cars for drifting because I'm just a big fan of drifting. So first, let's talk about the S15 Silvia. Yeah, I want one of these. I think they're absolutely sexy, and there's obviously a massive reason why people drift these S chassis. You know how people drift the 240SX S13, and then they upgrade to the S14, and then they all think to themselves, I really want an S15, but I can't afford it. Well, if I could afford it, I would have the S15 right away. I wouldn't even go with the S13 or S14. I think the S15 is gorgeous. I actually really don't like what most drifters do with the S15. I always think it kind of looks, I think the S15 looks good with stock body. I really don't think it needs a wide body kit on it, and drifters always put wide body kits on it. But either way, I think they're just a very fun car. They got an SR20 in them, obviously, which is a great motor to build, and they're rear-wheel drive. They're tail happy, and since there's such a huge platform for drifting these cars, it would be so much fun to learn. But for my other drift car, it is actually going to a car that I own. That's right, the Nissan 350Z. Yes, back in the day, I freaking loved this car. I always wanted a 350Z. Now that I have it, I don't want to ever get rid of it. I may end up getting rid of the one that I have, only to buy a new one, or a different one, because mine has so many problems all the time, and it's just not fun because I can never drive it. But the 350Z is perfect, in my opinion, for just about anything, especially if you're on a budget, dude. These cars are amazing. They make 300 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 2-seater, look great, have tons of aftermarket support, very cheap for absolutely everything out there for the car, very reliable, and they come with a limited slip differential from factory, so you don't even have to weld the diff if you want to get into drifting with this car. You just do it. That is just, I mean, it really just checks all the boxes. It would be, if I had both these cars, I would learn how to drift on the 350Z, and then my S15 would be like the crazy bonkers one with a lot of horsepower that I would start driving once I knew how to. Now let's get into the show car. What car I would build if I just wanted something that looks cool. I didn't care if it was like super fast or super, drifty or whatever, just something that I would like to build just to look good. It would obviously be the Mazda RX-7 FD. The FD RX-7 is my dream car. Most of you guys know that. I love this car with all my heart. I saw one for the first time in real life ever, literally like 2 days ago, and I literally couldn't stop staring at it. There was traffic behind me. I felt so bad, but I couldn't. It was yellow. It was gorgeous. I love the FD RX-7, and obviously I would tune it a little bit, make it a little bit faster than it is stock, make it sound good, but mainly I would just turn it into exactly what I envision an FD RX-7 to look like in my mind. Just have it just be the perfect build, in my opinion, and just look at it, just look at it and have fun with the car and just love everything about it. Obviously, this is my, like I said before, my dream car, so it obviously was going to make a spot in this list somewhere, and it really doesn't fit into any of the other ones, so I think show car is the perfect spot for it. Now for my Sunday Cruiser, and this is actually going to my other dream car, but my dream car that's like an actual dream car, because I'll probably never actually own one, the McLaren P1. I love the P1 with everything in my entire body. I like it more than the F1. I like it more than any of the old legends, the Ferrari 250, the Jaguar E-Type, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. You come up with another car out there that's like, oh my god, but what about the Audi Sport Quattro S2 or the Ford GT40? Nope, I like the McLaren P1 better. I love this car. I think it has the perfect, and when I say perfect, I mean freaking perfect mixture of like elegance but sportiness to it. It looks fancy but also incredibly angry at all times. It handles obviously incredible. It's got 1,000 horsepower. It's a freaking hypercar, so don't get me wrong, it's not like a great daily or anything, but that's why I put it as a Sunday cruiser spot. I take it out once a week and just have a freaking blast in what in my opinion is the most beautiful car of all time. But next, let's get into my project car. What would I want as a project? Something I'd always be working on and always changing things on and always trying to figure something out. Well, this one might be a little bit odd, but the Lamborghini Murcielago. I know it makes no sense because a Murcielago doesn't make sense as a project car, but that's because nobody's crazy enough to do it. But if you really wanted to, dude, you can take a Murcielago and just have a blast with this thing. If I had all the money in the world and I didn't have to worry about like holding on to it for its value, dude, I would just build this thing to be a freaking monster. It would be the most wild Murcielago you've ever seen in your life. I freaking love the Murcielago. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous car. My favorite Lamborghini by far. And I would just, I'd want to like build a wide body one that's like, has like over 1,000 horsepower, but looks also really, really good. I really always think about like putting the Marlboro livery on it. I like the Marlboro livery. I would put that on there and it would just be just a sick little project that like everybody's interested in. Next up is going to my rally car, and this one is actually a little bit tough to choose because there's a lot of really, really cool rally cars out there, but I honestly went with a basic one, the Mitsubishi Evo 9 MR. The Evo 9 is, in my opinion, the coolest little rally car out there. I understand that the Subaru and their STIs were actually technically better than the Evos in rally racing. They were slightly, faster, but I don't care because the Evo I'd have more fun with. The 4G63 is such a cool motor. Everybody always talks about how great they are. I would love to own one of those with that motor. But everything else about it also strikes with me. The looks, the way that they handle off-road is still, even though yes, the STI is a little bit better, they're still an incredible rally car. And the fact that they don't make Evos anymore, like it's a rare car, not a lot of people are driving them. Up where I am, everybody drives WRXs, so it would just be a nice change. And yeah, the WRX would probably be easier and would make more sense, but I don't need easy and making sense if I had all the money in the world. But now actually the last two cars are both going to fit into my track car category. And the first one is the Acura Integra Type R DC5. These two track cars, by the way, are going to be massively different. And this one would be the one that I would buy, tune, and every time I would like go around the track, I'd bring it back and like change one thing and then try to knock seconds off my lap time, or milliseconds off my lap time the next time I go back with it. That would be the Type R Integra. And yes, I would like the DC5, which is, as we know it in America, the RSX, over the DC4 or DC2, DC4, it has to be DC2 because my Integra is a DC4. But because I like the looks of the RSX a little bit better, so I would just go with that, and it's more modern. It's most likely, it's also faster stock, so it's probably faster modified too. But yeah, I would just love to build something that's like every time that you bring it to the track, it's always different because you change something. Maybe the first time you go stock, and then the next time you upgrade the tires. You put stickier tires on it, and then the next time you put a turbo on it, and you just keep doing that every time, and just seeing if you can knock seconds off your lap time. But then my other track car would be the complete opposite of that. It would be the Porsche Cayman 718 GT4, which is the newer Cayman. And yes, the GT4 RS, obviously, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whichever one, I don't really care. I think they both are pretty equal. But this would be the car that I would take out if I didn't want to drive like the unreliable Integra. That's I understand the RSX is reliable, but you know what I mean. Like if I'm building it up, it wouldn't be reliable. But yeah, if I just wanted to just go on a track day and not have to worry about anything, just have a blast on the track day with a track built, purpose built car. Maybe I can drive the car there and then drive it back. It's just not like a stress free, fun little track day. That would be this car. Maybe canyon carving with my friends. I would take this thing out. It would just be a fun, just cutting corners type of car. And I know you're going to think to yourself, well, why didn't he just choose a 911 GT3 RS? I don't know. I like the Cayman better. I really think it just looks that much better. I like how it's a lot smaller. I always like the small but angry little cars, if you drive a slow car fast type of deal. And I think I would much rather own the Cayman than a 911. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. As always, yes, there are hundreds of cars that could very easily take the place of many of these cars in the list. I was going back and forth even making the list. Even when I was saying the list just now, I was thinking to myself, yeah, but this car would also have been really cool for that spot. I love a lot of cars, but if I could only have 10, I took a long time, and I think these would be the 10 I would choose. Again, most likely what would end up happening is I'd be like, okay, I really want this car. I'm going to sell this car in order to replace it with this car type of deal. Because like, for example, BMW, I love BMW, and there's only one BMW on this entire list. So eventually I'd probably want another BMW. I want to try out Audis. I think Audis are really cool too. There's a lot of JDM cars on this list, but there's no NSX, there's no GTR, there's no Supra. I would want to try all those cars out, obviously. There's only one Honda, so it would just, you know, you could pick and choose. But this is my rough draft for my dream 10 car garage. Let me know what other cars you would put in your dream 10 car garage. Actually, yeah, give me your dream 10 car garage in the comments. That'll be fun. And thank you guys so much for watching. Das Vidania, and have a nice night.